Yes.
Yeah. All right, good. Now we might try one more topic.
Yeah.
Right. Let's go with this one is not a hard one to understand, but a pretty hard one to give strong answers for. And the topic is politeness.
Politeness. Okay.
Politeness. 礼貌.
我知道礼貌.
Yes. Okay, so we'll start with, do you think that you're a polite person?
Yeah. Personally, I think I'm a polite person because from my when I was born, my parents is a very traditional person. They told me the politeness and even the most of them have to respect the older people is very important in China, especially in the north of the China. That is very important 家训，我不知道怎么说 in my families and everyone should abide that regulations. And in the society, the China have the strong sense of the politeness because it's from the 孔子什么，反正
yes.
名人嘛，孔子嘛，that, yes, yeah, Confucius. It education generation by generation. And right now, I always told my daughter the politeness is very important. It could let the people trust you and very want to have the strong willing to communicate with you at the first sight.
All right. Now, what kind of manners do you think are the most important, or what kind of manners would you teach?
Okay. And the first important is say hello. Yeah. When you meet a person and say hello and require how are you is very important. And then you should wearing the fitful clothes and have the politeness sentences with you always, and the gesture because such as leave the courtesy sides to the older people and take care of the pregnant female pregnant women and the little child little kids. That is very important outside.
Right. Well, let's talk a little bit about China specifically, right? Because you probably know a little bit more about that particular culture.
Yeah.
So, for example, you said you have to be more respectful or polite towards the elderly or older, right? Why is that? And how exactly do you show your politeness?
Okay. And in my family, that is a lot of things should be followed. One is we should let if the it's a dinner prepared and we come together to have the dinner, and the first eating. The first starting one is the elder people, the oldest people in my family, and the last one is the youngest people. That is one thing. And another thing is, if I were doing the cooking or the 家务 household workings, that is, if I'm younger or am stronger, I should afford a lot of works to do and let the older people to have the rest. Yeah, that is true. And I think the three is, I think that is the old story like the 孔融让梨. That is the little kids. If he has two pairs, he he will let the old people to choose first, and the second one is if he choose first, if he will choose the smallest pairs and let the bigger one to the elder people. That is traditional idols.
Right, right. Now, so I think most of that answer was quite good. So the things like letting the elderly people eat first,
Yeah.
right, or helping them do housework or chores, right? I think those are very clear examples. They're very similar to Western ones, so this is something that people can understand.
Okay.
Right? Another example might be if you're on public transport, like the bus or the train, and you see an elderly people, you stand up and let them take a seat.
Okay.
Right? So yeah, that kind of thing I think is very common and easy to understand, right? Now, your story example, Konglong Lali, this one is only, as you can imagine, it's kind of unique to China, right?
Okay.
And the problem with this is that the regular Western examiner will have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. Maybe Western people couldn't understand what's the meaning of that.
Yeah, and you start talking about pairs and things like that. we're not too sure what's going on. Right?
Yeah.
If you wanted to talk about that, you'd have to tell the story.
Yeah.
Right? To understand the principle. So this is where, again, it's not a bad example, but you probably don't want to say it because it will cause more confusion than it does to actually explain.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But I think that overall, right, like I said, if you just left it at the first two examples, that would be a pretty good answer.
Okay.
Yeah, you might say that third one was a bit 画蛇添足。
对。
Right.
也不错。
Thank you. All right. Now, here's a bit of a harder question. Do you think manners and politeness have changed at all over the past few decades, let's say? So over time, do you think manners and politeness change? Or maybe what we're talking about is society's standards. Does what we think of as being polite or good-mannered, does that definition change over time?
I think it's a little difficult to reply to answer. Let me think it. I think this years I think it may be changed a little, because I think in the past years, or in traditional families or traditional peoples, they will follow the polite manners as well. But in some for some young people, or a lot of with a lot of children, or the younger people go abroad, they absorbed a lot of kind of cultures. They may have the complete of the culture from overseas. So they maybe think they will do another ways to follow the polite manners.
So this is where I think we're talking a little bit too theoretical. So you're saying we're taking different manners and cultures from other cultures and traditions, right?
Yeah.
So this is where I think it's better if you just directly give an example. Right. So, for example, where do you think this influence is coming from? If we're talking about China, what foreign cultures do you think people are learning from?
Foreign cultures?
Yeah. So if you're a Chinese person today, right, and you're saying there's probably some influence, some cultural clash.
Oh, yeah.
What other country do you think they're being influenced by?
They will be influenced by?
Yeah.
I think every country have their own polite manners. They have some common ones. That is respect the older people and the pregnancy and the little kids. That I think every country have the same common sense of that. But some different some different sense of other things, like the if like the making decisions. And in China, parents could make decisions for the children or their daughter or son. But in the Western countries, the parents will respect their other families.